It's probably safe to say that no innovation in the pool industry has generated more excitement and discussion than the introduction of intelligent variable drive pumps with permanent magnet motors by Pentair Water Pool and Spa. Never before have there been products capable of so dramatically reducing the cost of pool ownership. As a result, Pentair's variable drive pumps have been a sensational success. Tens of thousands are already installed as the industry discovers how they literally obsolete older pump designs. Now, it's also safe to say that the introduction of Intelliflo and Intellipro pumps has, to put it mildly, rocked other swimming pool pump manufacturers. The energy savings being meticulously documented by third parties are significant and in some cases downright phenomenal. Even in light of this proven performance, there is a good deal of misinformation and half-truths being spread about these remarkable pumps. This video will set the record straight by explaining the fundamental differences between conventional single and two-speed pumps with induction motors and intelligent variable drive pumps with permanent magnet motors. We'll also compare the energy use of new variable drive pumps with older technology to prove how dramatically variable drive pumps cut energy use. The savings will vary, of course, depending on which comparisons you choose to make, but the facts are clear and undeniable. These new pumps have changed the game in terms of energy conservation. First, let's review some basics of older pump technology and new variable drive technology to set the stage. And the first big difference is seen between old-style induction motors and the newer permanent magnet motors used in variable drive pumps. The fact is, permanent magnet motors on average are 30% more efficient than induction motors. In recent comparison tests with induction motors ranging from 1/2 to 3 horsepower, permanent magnet motors consume 17 to 44% less energy when run at the same performance levels. As you can see, the savings are greatest when comparing 1/2 to 2 horsepower motors and somewhat less when comparing 2.5 horsepower motors and higher. However, as you review this information, bear in mind that 90% of the pump installations involve induction motors that are 2 horsepower or less, where a permanent magnet motor delivers the greatest savings. So, to repeat, permanent magnet motors used in variable drive pumps deliver significant energy savings and are the first chapter of the total savings story. The next key concept to understand is the pump affinity law. This law states that when you reduce the motor speed by 1/2, you reduce the power requirements to 1/8 of the amount of power previously used. In short, the slower you run the motor, the less energy you consume. This pump law is, of course, central to the idea of being able to vary the speed or flow of a pump. The slower the speed or flow, then the bigger the energy savings. And as we'll soon show you, the savings can be very large. Also remember, these savings are added to those already gained by the use of a permanent magnet motor. As a general rule, you can expect to cut energy use up to 90% when using a variable drive pump compared to a single-speed or two-speed pump. First, because of the more energy-efficient motor. Second, because you can program a variable drive pump to run at lower motor speeds and take advantage of the pump affinity law. The savings will depend on a number of factors such as plumbing, fittings, the number and type of pool and/or spa features, and the filter media used, to name a few. But make no mistake, the savings can be significant. Now let's talk about how competitors have tried to discredit these facts. They claim that when an Intelliflo variable speed pump operates at its top speed of 3,450 RPMs, there are no savings when compared against a 3 horsepower single speed pump at the same performance. And they base this erroneous conclusion on the amperage draw information contained on the product label. So what's the truth? In the first place, amps are not the proper basis for making energy cost comparisons. The power in watts is the real power measurement that matters. Amps or voltamps are what is known as the apparent power. Watt rating refers to the actual power purchased from the utility, while volt-amp rating is used for sizing wiring and circuit breakers. Also remember that comparing one of the new variable pumps to a 3-horsepower pump applies to less than 5% of all pumps installed. In fact, in some states like California, 3-horsepower pumps are banned for use as a residential filter pump. But for argument's sake, let's see what happens when you do run an Intelliflo pump flat out and you measure how many watts it uses compared to a 3-horsepower pump at the same performance. As you can see, the variable drive technology consumes 9.4% fewer watts than the single-speed pump. Also consider that you simply would not set a variable drive pump at its maximum speed to accomplish most water-moving tasks. To do so negates the ability to exploit the energy savings based upon the pump affinity law. So now if you come across this or any similar comparisons, you'll understand why it is, first, not true, second, not representative of the horsepower pumps installed in the field.